Moving on to the legislation.
Resolution number 2015-02, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a demolition program agreement with the Cuyahoga County Department of Development for participation in the county's demolition program in the city of Maple Heights in 2015 and declaring an emergency.
This resolution is on its third reading. May I have a motion for adoption, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilman Brownlee?
Actually, it was just a minor note. I noticed here that there's a small typo that mentions in the second whereas clause, resolution number 2014-94. I believe it was actually 2014-93. I just happened to look at my documents from the December 17th meeting, and it looks like it's 2014-94 or 93 instead of 94.
I'll check that out.
Council clerk will handle that. Thank you. Call the roll for adoption, please.
Adams?
Yes.
Jones? Yes. CEFARATTI?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Brownlee?
No.
AGEE?
Yes.
Passed by the vote 5-1. Ordinance number 2015-05, an ordinance amending section 148602B of the codified ordinances regarding obtaining a rental registration license in the city of Maple Heights and declaring an emergency.
This ordinance is on its second reading.
Ordinance number 2015-07, an ordinance amending the Maple Heights zoning map to change the zoning districts of 35 parcels in the city upon the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission in the city of Maple Heights and declaring an emergency.
This ordinance is also on its first reading. Would you turn to your expenditures of $1,000, please? 2015, 13 through 17. Any discussion? Will you call the roll, please? Oh, I'm sorry. A motion first. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Call the roll, please.
AGEE?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Jones? Yes. CEFARATTI?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Brownlee?
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you very much, Council. The mayor is not available tonight, so we'll move right up to council reports. And Councilwoman AGEE District 7 is... I'm sorry,
Yeah, I gave the indication.
let her go. Go ahead.
Okay, Council President, Ms. Peterson walked out.
Oh,
Yeah, but I wanted to address her. Okay, Ms. Peterson, I called Ms. Peterson on February the 15th and left her a voice message asking her to call me back. I responded to her call an hour later. We talked about her issue, and I told her that once I received the information regarding it, I would call her back. I placed a call to my colleague, Councilwoman Jones, and she assists me by looking the information up. I immediately called Ms. Peterson back after I gathered the information that she needed. And then she told me that she needed additional information as well. At that time, it was 5 o'clock in the evening. I informed Ms. Peterson that it was too late to call City Hall. And also I let Ms. Peterson know that the holiday, which was Monday, January 19th, that City Hall would be closed and that it would reopen up on Tuesday, January 20th. And I would place the call then. I returned her call as promised on Tuesday, January 20th, around 4 o'clock. And I didn't receive an answer. I use this incident as an example because the residents need to know. The residents need to be careful as to what they say in a council meeting in regards to a council member not doing his or her job, and that council members do return phone calls because as your councilwoman, returning your calls, I return your calls in a timely manner. And this is one of my duties that I take very seriously. And I wish I could address Ms. Peterson, but she left. Okay, good evening. My biggest concern right now is the effect that the fiscal watch will have on the residents, especially our seniors. We as council will have to make some tough decisions that will affect us all one way or another. So there really isn't any room for a lot of pettiness that's going on right now in Maple. What we need to do is work together and try our best to move the city forward, because we know it can be done. So if you feel that you cannot be a part of moving the city forward, please don't get in our way. Remember, this is something that didn't happen overnight, and a lot of us are doing our best so we can fix as much as we can. Every individual that's in these council seats before us played a role in this. So stop pointing fingers and start working with council to seek solutions, and be slow to point fingers. It's time for the city to come together. Southgate updates. Radio Shack is going out of business. There are 3 businesses opening up in Southgate. First, Beauty Nook is going to be a spa. Second, Simple Fashion is a woman's apparel. Third, New York Fashion is a men's apparel. And some of you already heard that Southgate Lane has closed. The bowling alley is under renovation and will be under new ownership. It will be reopening soon, and it will be bigger and better. With February being Black History Month, I would like to share a little known Black history fact. Did you know on February the 18th, 2006, Sean Davis became the first African American to win an individual gold medal in Winter Olympics history? He captured the men's 1,000 meter speed skating race. Tomorrow, February the 19th, I will be having a roundtable discussion with the Maple Heights seniors and their parents. Our guest speaker will be a Maple Heights police officer explaining how the laws will change once you become an adult. District 7 Block Watch meeting will be held on Thursday, March 19th at the Maple Heights Library at 6:30. Please plan to attend. End of report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Adams, District 1.
Thank all the residents for coming out tonight. Off the cold, you braved the cold. Appreciate it. I had a few complaints about snow removal on the side streets. Told residents to be patient and the main roads will be done first. Some calls of missed garbage pickups. Get garbage out early. We'll call the Tony Black Service Department. She took care of the issues. Block Watch Captain from Lisa Drive called about people in an empty house behind her. The police had already come to investigate. I advised her to keep an eye on any further movements and to call the police and give me a call. So there's a Block Watch in action. Police came out, nothing happened. She was right there to do it. There will be a fish fry this Friday at the American Legion, Post 309, 4 to 7. And we're going to have the fish fries up to April the 3rd, the end of that. So stop by and get your fish fries. I would like to thank the volunteers for the Meals on Wheels. There is a difficult time of year to climb those icy and unshoveled steps. There's a couple from District 1 that was reliable volunteer. Thanks to the Bronskis for your service. And I thank all the other volunteers that's helping the seniors. A resident called about some ideas on rehabbing foreclosed homes. I want to encourage any ideas from residents who We want to help our city. And now it's written neighborhood news about this fiscal emergency. Anything or ideas that you have, or you'd like to get on a commission, talk to one of us or Jackie, bring forth your ideas. Because there just might be something that we're overlooking. And it wasn't created by this council. Things happened that we went over many times. We had many meetings. I've been hearing this word transparency. I don't know what else to do. Transparency. Well, we've had open meetings. Many meetings. All been publicized. All the figures was given. All your questions was answered. And I have never wrote an email requesting from Irene information that I did not get. So anybody on this council that waits till there's a meeting and brings up a question that could have been done yesterday, we have to learn to go to the finance director to get the answers. We can't say there's no transparency. Because I got stacks of paper home like that, and Irene was kind enough to put them figures and everything together for me. I know when you're out there sitting, you do not get these figures. You rely on your council person, your president, your finance director, and the mayor to get those answers. And call any one of us, and we'll gladly get you an answer. If we don't have it, you'll get one. Had a call today from a man representing the IRS out of New York. He had his telephone number. Told him wasn't interested. Called back. Said, why'd you hang up on me? Hung up again. And I called him. He got an answer. So you get a call representing the IRS, another scam. Don't say nothing. Just hang it up. He had a nerve to call me back. Like hang up on me. And I did notify the police department. Thank you, Mr. Jones. You've been at some of our functions and did get your information, and you have helped a lot of people. And we appreciate you here in Big Heights. There is a need, and you're correct, foreclosures are not done. So I thank Linda, because I know she'll be putting something together with you here to bring them in. Now we just have to get the word out to anybody. I just had a foreclosure. People got up and moved out 3 weeks ago. I'm done. So it's still out there. This emergency watch, don't get excited. You heard it. I have to go back to it again because I've had phone calls. We'll be taking a look at it, and maybe we will put a levy out. And it's hard to sit on a phone and explain everything step by step, because it'll be there for 20 hours with many things that happen. I'm sorry the levies didn't pass. One of them, two of them, especially the senior center. But we will be looking at those, and we'll be bringing them up. And we need your help. If we put a levy on, we definitely gonna need your help. It's the only way this city can operate. We don't have any big commercial companies here. We're a bedroom community. And minus, Tony said 150 some empty houses. That's non-producing revenue sitting there, which we pay for grass cutting and boarding up and police patrols. So please, come to the meetings that Jackie's gonna be, the president's gonna be arranging. Put your questions together, listen to us, and try to help us. I know we're all hurting for money, but it's our home. Maple Heights, I'm not going anywhere. Let's not let it go down the tubes. Thank you. Have a good night. Thanks for coming out. Be careful going home. God bless you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Tony Jones, District 2.
Good evening, everybody. And Alex, I agree with you. I'm not going anywhere either. I do have, and I don't think all of us need to address the fiscal emergency concept because I think it was explained very well by our finance director. But I do have my copy if somebody cannot download it or have access to the internet. Unfortunately, I only have one. But we could get these out to you if this is something you're interested in reading. So I'll keep that out there for someone that needs it. For those of you that walked in, prior to the meeting starting, we were actually having our caucus, which is a meeting that we have prior to the council meeting. And that's when we discuss legislation and any other questions that we have in regards to what's coming forth for vote. I want to thank council for approving the contract with the County Department of Development for our demolition application. It's due February 27th. We have approximately 115 homes that may be candidates for demolition. Each one of those properties need to have proper notification in order to notify any lien holder and property owner about the condition of the property, give them the right to make good, or the house will come down. We're also keeping track of vacant properties, so if anybody has a concern out there, and they ask this each time and nobody ever calls me, so either I have all the properties or, you know, I know it's too cold to look outside, but especially now with the driveways that are being shoveled and the footprints of the mailman, it's very easy to identify homes that have just the virgin snow and it's been untouched. And it's not warm enough for the kids to actually run through the front yards to make the tracks. So if somebody does have any concerns, just let us know because, you know, it's a good thing for us just to keep track of these properties. I also want to thank Mr. Jones for coming here from ESOP. I think it's a wonderful idea to have the, hopefully it's a low-interest senior loan program for people that may be delinquent on their property taxes. And even if you're not a senior, and I don't know how many people know this, if you are 1 year delinquent on your taxes, the county certifies that as being delinquent. What they do in Cuyahoga County is they take a pool, random pool of those people from each municipality, including the city of Cleveland, and they sell those tax liens. Once they do that, well, before they do that, they actually do give you notice to either enter into a payment plan or to call them. This is probably the first time that we'll ever maybe say that government at that time is your friend, because it is a lot cheaper for you to get on their payment plan and work with the person that you can speak with rather than having this tax lien sold to a for-profit company that will end up foreclosing on the house. But not only that, try to enter into a payment plan with them with exorbitant interest rates and penalties. They also buy each subsequent tax, I'm going to call it a lien. So if you were behind last year, guess what? They got your this year's taxes too. So you're just digging yourself into a debt that you can't get out of. So the sooner you could help yourself by either calling the county, trying to enter into a payment plan, or even if you are in the sold position, try to contact the company, it's called Woods Cove, and see if you can negotiate something with them to enter into a payment plan so you don't get foreclosed. There are approximately 152 homes right now in Maple Heights that are going through that type of foreclosure process, and people are losing their homes for only being 1 year delinquent. And is that fair? No. Because when I'm looking at the list of the homes that we're having as candidates for demolition, and some of these have been vacant 5, 7, 10 years, and their property tax amounts exceed $15,000 to $30,000. And is it really fair to try to put somebody out of their home for 1 year when, you know, there's taxes on these homes that have just accumulated so badly? It's just baffling. So if there's anything that we could do, you could contact me. Unfortunately, I love houses, I love figures, and Mr. Jones, you're also right, there has been a spike in foreclosures. It's something that's happened since maybe the last part of December, but between December and January, the whole county has seen a spike in foreclosures. So the crisis isn't over yet, and it's magnified by people that are losing their jobs and having just maybe a single income instead of having two. And there is still help out there, even though ESOP has decided to change, or if the funding directed them to, you know, helping out with different programs, but there is a need there. There still is, you know, a couple of very good agencies that are nonprofits that would be able to help you out. So if you need any help, call me. And that would be the end of my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman CEFARATTI, District 3.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Basically, where to start is I'm kind of looking forward to what the state officials and auditors have to say about the fiscal emergency. I kind of feel, actually I'm a little irritated with them, and I kind of feel that the amount of hubris that they portray, starting down from the governor and working its way down to the auditor and all of them, is kind of overwhelming, because we've asked for help, we've asked for ideas how to balance the budget, and all they do is just keep running the numbers. Well, those people, and I mean those people, are over there with their $100,000 degrees, their $150,000 to $300,000 homes, and they're probably $75,000 or more a year job, looking down on us in Maple Heights. You can't cut a local fund and expect not to have ramifications down the road. I want to hear what they have to say and how we may have to gut the fire in the police department and the rest of City Hall, and then we'll see how they feel about it. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, they don't frickin' live here. I have no choice word for that, but I'm kind of tempering my tongue here a little bit. And you know what, I'm tired of the hubris from them. Let's see what you have for answers. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we have tried with levies, we have tried with cutting the budget. You're also high and mighty up in the governor's office all the way down. Let's see what you can do, because you know what, I'm calling them out right now. Let's see what your answers are without decimating this city, the residents, and the safety forces. Because you know what, when I said in 2014 the residents had a choice and there were going to be changes if the levies weren't there, and this is where we're at. I am calling out these state officials to put all their higher education on the line here, and let's see what they come up with, and let's see if you agree with it. Because I can guarantee you, you won't agree with what they want to cut. Just look at Garfield and go from there. So ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I'm a little irritated, because you can take a snapshot and go into fiscal emergency, but when you ask for help and ideas and opinions, and you don't get anything, and they say, oh, we're better than you, well, here you are. Here's your plate. Let's see what you can do with it. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we've tried everything that we can think of. Let's see what they can do. End of report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson, District 4.
Good evening, everybody. Just to tag on to what my brother Councilman said, we have a governor who's been mentioned, prospective president run. One of his claims to fame is his rainy day fund, and it's in the millions. Yeah, billions, somebody said. Somebody mentioned that to you. Ask them where that money come from. And it came from communities that they stopped giving money to or took money away. And now that we're in financial straits, they don't want to hear from us. So it sounds good if you don't look underneath the covers, but underneath the covers you'll find the real deal. Mr. Jones, thank you for coming. One of the things too that I found that just recently, when it comes to property taxes, and especially with our elderly, sometimes after they pay off their mortgage and all they have is their taxes to pay, that bill gets lost in the shuffle with all the other paper that they get in the mail. And sometimes they end up not paying attention to that, so that they don't pay it. Before they look up, they're behind in their property tax. So I'm glad to see, I hope you do be able to get this program here, because I have some people I think would benefit from attending. I've had calls on people putting out trash early, also trying to get a hold of the people and just send them some information on how that's supposed to be handled. I went to go by one of their houses, and it was a couple streets away, and on my travels, I ran across 3 other houses that their trash was out early too. When I'm saying early, our pickup is on Thursday. Their trash was out Saturday. So they put it out after our trash day. So then it was going to stay out all weekend and, practically all week too. We talked about our fiscal emergency, and thank you, Ms. Kroll. That was some good information. I know Garfield, they were in emergencies for 5 years, and I heard you mention a 5-year plan, a long-term plan that we would need to develop. So we're not going to get out of it overnight. It's kind of hard to get out of a couple $1 million deficit without having a big influx of revenue from somewhere. But in that, was one of the big reasons why some people stood and wanted to pass a levy to try to eliminate this issue that we're facing now. People have made comments about being another East Cleveland. And I hate to, just bring up one suburb or pick on them. They're not the only suburb that has faced fiscal emergency. But you know what? If you're really set against any levy or raising up any type of revenue, but on the other hand, you don't want to lose any of your services, I got calls about snow removal and no salt on the streets and all this ice buildup. Well, guess what? If you have half the employees that you had last year plowing snow, you got half the trucks, and you don't have money to buy salt, what is it that you think you're going to get? You're not going to get the same service with less people. And I'll go back and say it again. Everybody thinks everybody else makes too much money and works too hard except you. You could never admit to somebody that you could do more work, but you want your city officials to. Be careful about frostbite. I did also get a call about people who were going to businesses around the city, but the snow in front of the business was not removed. I would like for you to encourage, when you go in that snow, that you tell the owners to remove their snow. Fortunately or unfortunately, I got a call from another resident that's in a wheelchair, and he was complaining about not being able to get down the streets to the stores. And I had those issues too. I try to find somebody walking in the street and I get behind them and try to make it up and down the street. And as you do remove your snow, when you get tired, go in the house, take a break, go on a rest, get warm, then come out and do a little bit more. Be careful with your health. Then I end report. Thank you.
Thank you.